Hello dear friends, welcome to the course on genetics. In last some videos we have discussed about the interactions of genes and how the dihybrid ratio it gets modified. In this video we are going to study the last type of genetic interactions, which contains the information of lethal genes. So what are the lethal genes, why the ratio becomes 2:1 we will discuss here. So you can find here ratio 2:1, which is modified from the monohybrid ratio 3:1. So instead of 3:1 the ratio becomes 2:1. So this particular concept is called as concept of lethal genes. So we will discuss about lethal genes in detail. So before understanding concept, we should know the definition of lethal genes. Lethal genes, or they may be called as lethal alleles, they are the mutant genes which results in the death of the individual either in parental or postnatal period prior to sexual maturity. So lethal genes or lethal alleles are the mutant genes, or mutations are taken place there, so that the these such type of organisms which having lethal genes, it get die prior to sexual maturity. So lethal genes or lethal gene concept, it has been discovered first of all by Lucien Cugnot in 1905. So there are two types of lethal genes: dominant lethal genes and recessive lethal genes. So first of all we will see dominant lethal genes, and after that we will discuss about recessive lethal genes. So what are dominant lethal genes? If present, dominant lethal gene is present in an offspring or in a organism, they kill individuals in both homozygous and heterozygous states. Means if the alleles, dominant alleles are lethal, though they may be present in homozygous or heterozygous state, the organism or individual will be definitely killed. So the individuals with such alleles will die before they can leave any progeny. So they are removed from the population in the same generation in which they arose. So here we have to note one thing, that the dominant lethal alleles are the alleles they will kill an individual in both homozygous and heterozygous states. So such type of organism, such type of individual will be died before they can leave any progeny. Means they can't reproduce, or before reproduction they becomes die. So such type of organism, such type of individuals can be removed from the population in the same generation in which they arose, and they can't proceed to the next generation. So this is called as dominant lethal genes. Now what are the recessive lethal genes? They kill an individual only when they are present in homozygous state. So recessive lethal genes are the genes they should be present in homozygous state, then and then only they can kill the organism, otherwise organism will be survived. So they are called as recessive lethal genes. Now we will see some other facts about the lethal genes. Completely lethal genes cause death of an individual in its embryonic development or even after birth. So if there is complete lethality or complete lethal genes are present, they will kill the organism, or the death of organism can be occurred in embryonic development stage or even after birth. So individual with complete lethality cannot attain the age of reproduction. In some cases, lethal genes becomes operative at the time of individual becomes sexually mature. So such lethality will handicap the possessor but do not kill him. So such genes are known as sublethal genes or semi-lethal genes. So these are not fully lethal genes. Here organisms become alive, or it will be survived, but it will not proceed for reproduction, and it will not fertilize. So such type of lethality, it is called as sublethal or semi-lethal. Why? Because organisms will be survived but it can't reproduce. So this particular type of lethality is called as semi-lethality, or it is caused by semi-lethal genes. So lethal alleles modify the ratio 3:1 into 2:1. So here also and here also only two types of phenotype will be produced, but here it was having ratio 3:1, but here it is having ratio 2:1. So modification of monohybrid ratio, it will takes place due to lethal genes. So how it will takes place we will see in the example. So here we are discussing about two examples. First example, it is related to coat color in mice, and another example is sickle cell anemia in human being. So first example we will proceed. Here we have taken example of coat color in mice. So when we have selected two yellow mouse for the cross, and one yellow mouse, it has genotype AY, capital A, and it is again crossed with another yellow mouse which is having same genotype. So they will produce 3 offspring instead of 4 offsprings. So they are formed into the ratio 2:1 instead of 3:1. So instead of 4 offspring form, it will form only 3 offsprings. So how it takes place we will discuss here. So what we have done, we have selected one male mouse which is yellow in color, and another also yellow colored female mouse, and we allow them to cross. So they will produce 3 offsprings instead of normal 4 offsprings into the ratio 2:1. So let us discuss diagrammatically. So we have selected 2 mouse here, one is also yellow, another is also yellow. This is male, suppose this is female. They will give rise to gametes. Suppose this is AY, A. So when first pair or first allele of the first mouse, it will crossed with the second allele or second 2 alleles, it will give rise to such type of offspring. So here you can see this AY of first pair, if crosses with AY of another pair, what will happen? See, it will form a mouse which is yellow in color, but due to homozygosity, here both alleles are homozygous, and when they come together the mouse will be died. So this mouse will be died before birth or even after birth. Now see this pair AY, it pairs with A of another organism or another parent, then it will give the genotype AAY. So here yellow mouse will be formed. In this case, the second allele of the first parent, it will fuse with the first allele of the second parent, it will give AAY. So genotypes is similar to this. So these two genotypes are similar, and this mouse, it is having no such type of lethality, but they are carrier for such type of lethality. So they contain such type of genes, lethal genes, but these individuals are not lethal one, but they can carry such type of lethal trait to next generation. So these two yellow mouse which are having no lethal effects, they may be survived, and such type of 2 mouse have been formed. Now only one mouse which is totally normal, which having no any lethal effects, it contains both alleles, capital A. So this particular mouse or genotypes are completely normal and no any sign of the lethality it can be found here, and these organisms will not cause any lethal effects in their offsprings too. So these two are carrier for lethality, this and this, and this has been very normal. So out of 4 offspring, 1 is died, see here, and only 3 are survived. Out of these 3, 2 are having trait for lethality and 1 is totally normal. So the progeny or offsprings are produced in the ratio 2:1. So this is the first example, that is coat color in mice. Now next example we will discuss about, it has been seen in human being, sickle cell anemia. So this is a disorder which can be seen in human being. So it is a human genetic disorder in which normal, flexible and round shaped blood cells become sickle shaped or crescent shaped due to defective hemoglobin. So hemoglobin, it is very important protein which is present in our blood, but due to some disorders, some defects in hemoglobin, instead of normal, flexible, round blood cells or RBCs are converted into sickle shaped, crescent shape, and it will cause the problem. So normally the RBCs are flexible, round and normal, but due to defectiveness in hemoglobin, it will become sickle shaped or crescent shaped. So normal hemoglobin is a protein in red blood cells that carries oxygen. It becomes defective, forming hemoglobin S. So instead of hemoglobin becomes hemoglobin S, and it is defective hemoglobin. So when normal hemoglobin it get converted into hemoglobin S, it will form such type of sickle shaped and crescent shaped RBCs. So in this disorder, sickle shaped red blood cells get stuck inside the blood vessels and block blood flow and oxygen transport to some parts of the blood and caused the sickle cell anemia. So here these are the round shaped RBCs, but due to this hemoglobin S, these RBCs will become sickle shaped or crescent shaped. So they are formed like this, and so that these will get stuck inside the blood vessels, and it will cause the oxygen and blood flow normally, and it will get cause sickle cell anemia to different parts of the body. So why this hemoglobin S is formed instead of hemoglobin, we should know. So hemoglobin is made up from 2 subunits, that is alpha globin and beta globin. There is a gene, namely HBB. It is responsible for the formation of beta globin, but if mutation will be takes place at this gene, so this gene it will responsible for formation of beta globin, but due to some mutagens it get mutated, and due to which the hemoglobin S will be produced, and this is very important for the formation of sickle cell anemia. So blood's RBCs are become sickle shaped due to this hemoglobin S. And why this hemoglobin S is formed? It is due to the mutation which is taking place on this gene which is responsible for the formation of RBCs. So instead of normal hemoglobin, which leads to the disorder, that is sickle cell anemia. Now here we can see the example. A man and woman both with sickle cell anemia trait, that is carrier, will produce offsprings in the ratio 2:1. So here both parents are having sickle cell trait, means these parents are not sickle cell anemia disease or disorder, but they are having trait or they are carrier for that because they contain such type of HbS. So here you can see this is normal hemoglobin Hba allele, and this is HbS is the sickle cell anemic allele. So both parents, here you can see both parents are sickle cell carrier, that is sickle cell carrier men and sickle cell carrier women, means both are having such trait and they may produce the offspring with sickle cell anemia. So you can see here, you can see 4 offsprings are formed, but the offspring which is homozygous for sickle cell anemia, that is HbS, it gets died in that generation itself. So see here, this particular offspring, it contains both alleles having HbS and HbS homozygous state. So it becomes died and it is removed from that generation. Now only 3 are survived. Out of these 3, 2 are having the sickle cell anemia trait, that is they are again carrier for the sickle cell anemia because they contains such type of gene here or allele HbS. So here also you can see HbS and here also you can see HbS. So this is normal, but due to this the organism or offspring become carrier, means definitely they will cause the sickle cell anemia in their offspring or in their progeny. So these 2 are heterozygous because one allele is Hb and one allele is HbS. Here also heterozygous condition you can see, and both of these are called as sickle cell carrier or the offspring with sickle cell trait, but they are not sickle cell anemic. Now last offspring you can see homozygous, it is totally normal, means it doesn't have any sickle cell anemia trait or not having any sickle cell anemic symptoms, and it can't produce offspring with sickle cell anemia because here no any HbS is present. So this is totally normal human being which is having no such type of trait or such type of disorder. So here we can see this particular offspring, it gets removed from the population and only 3 offsprings are formed, out of which 2 are heterozygous and carrier for sickle cell anemia, they are in the ratio 2, and 1 which is very normal, it is having 1. So the ratio, it becomes 2:1 instead of 3:1. So this is all about the lethal genes and how these lethal genes will convert the ratio, that is 3:1 into 2:1. So we have discussed 2 examples, that is coat color in mice and sickle cell anemia for that. So this is all about lethal genes. So thank you very much.